Melissa is a beauty queen, digital strategist, social entrepreneur, and CEO at World Masterclass. She embodies hard work and determination in all that she does, and that is what makes her the empowered woman that she is today.
Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode of In Love with Me, where we feature inspiring individuals who will share their amazing stories. I am your host, Mafae Yunan Velasco, and today we have such a beautiful soul that I am excited to share with you guys. She is a woman who is a social entrepreneur, and without further ado, let me introduce you guys to Melissa Seow. Hi, Melissa.
Hello.
Good to finally see
Thank
you
you.
again.
Thank you so much for having me here on your show.
Of course, I only have to have you because you're one of those women that I really respect and admire, and everything that you do. Earlier, I shared that you're a social entrepreneur, so please share with everyone what that means in your little spiel right now. Before we talk about what you've been doing during this quarantine period, please share with us how you became the empowered woman that you are today.
Wow, that goes back a very, very long way how I ended up to where am I
Mhm.
today. So is it okay if I start from, how I started with business? Because it's
Yes,
how
please.
I started with business and I realized I have this money-making skills. And later I realized there's a bigger purpose, which is to use the skill to help people. So it all started back when I was studying in Australia, and being cash strapped, like just like any other students. I'm a big fan of fashion, but I couldn't afford high ticket items or retail prices, because one piece of clothing will easily cost you like $100 to $200. You know that, Mafae, right? So and sorry, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh,
Go
okay, okay,
ahead.
sorry, because the
Keep
screen has been
sharing.
switching.
Yeah. Don't
Okay,
mind
so
it. It's the production.
okay, so the thing is, the part of me really loving fashion, and but the other part of me couldn't afford it because I was a
Mhm.
cash strapped student. I was living on a budget, and I was doing a lot of research online, and I was googling a lot, and I came across this website called eBay.
Mhm.
And I searched for my favorite clothing items, like retro vintage, and it came out with a lot of fashion pieces, which
Mhm.
is at bargain prices. I'm talking like $10-15, and I find it very affordable. So I remember looking at my first fashion piece. It was that I bought online. It was
Mhm.
a black and white geometrical halter top, and it was only for 15 Australian dollars, which was a good buy, and it was in
Mhm.
very, very good condition. So I bid it, and I won it at $15.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when I got it, I realized that it was a bit too big for me because I was very tiny. It was
Mhm.
an Australian size 8. So
Mhm.
I didn't want to waste that $15 that I spent. So what I
Mhm.
did was I put back that piece of halter top back on eBay, and guess
Mhm.
what? I sold it for $3. And I realized that, hey, I just made like $8, accidentally.
Mhm.
So and this suddenly sparked me that, what,
Mhm.
I can actually, keep on doing this arbitraging, buying cheap fashion and reselling it, because I realized that I have this eye for fashion, that I'm really good at picking, bargain pieces, but at the same time, it doesn't look cheap. People think it's
Mhm.
expensive.
Mhm.
So, it started growing from there. The first thing I did was I started selling all my unwanted clothing from my closet.
Mhm.
And from there, I was, trying to take photos, and, writing description, reselling it. And I managed to actually build up a small little capital. And I
Mhm.
remember my first investment was actually a proper digital camera. It is a very vintage one, because we're talking like 15 years ago.
Mhm.
And it's one of those digital camera that does not even have a screen, so you basically have to take all the photos,
Mhm.
and you only can see them once you plug it on your computer. So I remember it was my first investment, but it was worth it, because it then on helped me with my business,
Yeah.
in creating a decent income for me as a student. So,
Mhm.
and so happened, the use back then I was studying in Monash University in Melbourne,
Mhm.
in Clayton, and so happened nearby there was a DFO outlet. Back then there wasn't too many DFO outlet in Australia yet, so
Mhm.
there were many local Australian brands, and I realized that Australians, they love to buy their own local brand. So what I did was, every week I make it a point to, with my capital, and I'll go shopping. So it's
Yeah.
like kind of like a dream job, because you get to shop on your job, shop for clothing. So, I'll be picking out all those bargain pieces for $10, $15, and I'll take photos, I'll write description, I'll put it on eBay. I remember Thursday night is the best night to list your items, and you list it for
Mhm.
10 days, so that it ends on Sunday night, where you get the most eyeballs.
Yeah.
So, I'll be charging from, I bought it at $10, I can sell it anywhere to 70, 80, or even up to $100. And that
Wow.
was how I, started my first,
Mhm.
I would say,
Yeah.
business. So, the thing, I've been doing that for, I would say, maybe about 12 months.
Mhm.
But my parents told me that the financial situation back home wasn't too good, so
Mhm.
they told me to go back to Malaysia to resume my education. So
Mhm.
I did that. But I already had this thing going on in Australia,
Mhm.
where I discovered, online selling through eBay. So, and I had a partner that asked me that in Malaysia, they're like, hey, you have all these skills. Why not
Mhm.
let's do something about it? I was
Mhm.
like, all right. And he proposed that, what, he's got the skills in car accessories, and
Mhm.
I have the e-commerce skill. So we kind of
Right.
combined that, and the rest was history, because I remember we actually started this venture in
Mhm.
selling car accessories online with
Yeah.
no capital.
Mhm.
And I remember, but the thing is, we know suppliers that they are able to supply to us and only
Mhm.
collect payment 1 month later. So what I did was, we get the orders, get from eBay,
Yeah.
then we collect supplies, and we post it out, and 1 month later we pay our suppliers. So
Mhm.
you see the process there, where I don't even have to come upfront with the capital
Right.
for this business.
Mhm.
So I remember the first month we made about $800 with
Wow.
no capital, but
Mhm.
we kept on putting on more products, and keep doing what we're doing. We keep scaling up, and the
Mhm.
next month I remember we made like $5,000, and the rest is history. And we went on to
Wow.
become like
Mhm.
one of the biggest eBay seller in Southeast Asia, and I'm talking like 10 years ago, which is,
Yeah.
that eBay was pretty much unheard of back then in the
Right.
Asian region. So
Mhm.
I was very fortunate to be able to have this skill firsthand in the
Mhm.
Asia region. So, I was spending most of my time during university and my early 20s actually running the e-commerce business. And at the same time, I have this thing for pageantry. I
Yeah.
love pageant a lot. But I didn't have the opportunity to pursue much because back then I don't have the financial means or even the time, because
Mhm.
it takes a lot of it takes a lot of investment in
Mhm.
terms of investing in yourself. Back then,
Mhm.
I was just in a rat race, trying to make the money to pay for my school fees, and at the same time taking care of my family.
Mhm.
So it wasn't until after I got married, and I've came across the opportunity to actually participate in Mrs. pageant. I didn't know there was such thing for pageant for married women.
Yeah.
So I didn't give it a second thought. I thought that I've already missed my shot when way before that, and
Mhm.
now that I think I have better support, so I'm just gonna give it a shot. And throughout my this journey in the Mrs. Pageantry, I realized that what, I can combine my business skill to do something bigger. So that is how I came to I I I I remember my first project when I was competing in Mrs. World 2017 Johannesburg. One of my project was actually called Blood Go, which is where we actually came out with an app platform, and we match donors of different blood, because the thing with blood donation,
Mhm.
you can't exactly get the exact blood type at the right time.
Mhm.
So we created a platform, and we invited people to come on and join us. So as
Mhm.
and when we get the request, um, when we need us when there's a blood donation campaign, we will actually send an SMS or send an app notification through the app, and people will get notified, and we can make the blood donation campaign way more efficient than
Mhm.
how it's actually running right now, which is very, I would say, traditional, where they will where we have the local government hospital, they will set up campaigns, physical campaigns, in different parts of the country, and they go like from one area to another area. I find that is very, it's a lot of logistic involved.
Yeah.
So that's how we came up with an app to help to connect the blood donors and the people that who needs the blood, and that
Mhm.
way we can save lives. So that
Mhm.
was one of the biggest project. I mean, one of the project that I've been working on, and it got me inspired even further.
Mhm.
So after the Mrs. World competition, I started to spend more time in helping my husband, who
Mhm.
is an international entrepreneur speaker. And
Yes.
from there, it totally opened up my eyes, because
Mhm.
I've always, I mean, my husband, he's been speaking for, I would say, the last 10 years, but it wasn't until the last 3 years that I was actively helping up in his business, because well, the thing, with husband and wife working together, it can be really tricky. So
Yeah.
it took quite some time to arrive at that, at
Mhm.
that decision, which I
Mhm.
think, okay, it's time that I need to help my husband.
Yeah.
And I think I've never regretted it. Yeah, but I wouldn't say that it was easy.
Mhm.
But my husband's mission, and our mission, and our family's vision, I think it has actually, I would say, we're pretty much fulfilled the last 3 years, because we've been helping entrepreneurs to fulfill
Mhm.
their dreams of starting their own business, or even helping them,
Yeah.
to escalate their business from one level to another.
Mhm.
So, and when we run events from one to another, the energy is amazing. Imagine yourself surrounded by extremely positive people with the right mindset and
Mhm.
value.
Mhm.
And from what we're running, I am constantly conscious that we will always donate a part of what we're doing to
Mhm.
charity. For example, just for this year itself, uh, in January, we actually I actually held a birthday party for Vince. So
Mhm.
instead of like buying presents for Vince, I told it was a surprise birthday party, so he has no idea at all. So I told all the guests that, you know what, instead of buying presents for Vince,
Mhm.
let's do something bigger.
Mhm.
Let's donate all the presents that you're planning to buy for Vince in cash
Mhm.
to our local orphanage. So
Yes.
so we did exactly just that, and we managed to raise 20,000 ringgit just from that birthday party alone. And that was an amazing start. Then came the whole COVID pandemic. It was very unfortunate that I think it
Mhm.
hit many people, and especially, I mean, I can see that everybody is struggling. The
Yes.
country, people, our frontliners, and for I mean, it's like for us, like we've been always running a physical event, but because of this pandemic, we need to pivot fast as well. So we were fortunate that we were able to be the first few to I would say pioneer a virtual summit, and we had quite a lot of following, and we were able to donate parts of the collection, and we kind of we collected like $50,000, and and I helped to manage, with buying the medical supplies, coordinating with the doctors, and actually, at the end we were able to donate them to our local hospital. So you see, this is how I actually combine with whatever that I'm doing in the business world, taking a part of it and giving back to the community. So
Mhm.
that is my definition of social entrepreneurship.
And so amazing, everyone out there. Melissa and I actually met at the Mrs. Philippines pageant here in the Philippines. She visited, and we were both co-judges for that pageant, and that's how I got to meet this beautiful woman right here, who is very empowering. And at the same time, you are leading, or you own a pageant there in Malaysia too, right?
I'm part of a pageant which
Mhm.
I've been helping out. It's
Mhm.
Mrs. International Global. It is
Yes.
owned by Datin Sharon too, which is my mentor.
And how did that
Yeah.
come about? It's also the giving back part?
Yes, I mean that is I would say that is part I wouldn't it is kind of like a hobby to me. But then
Mm-hmm.
again, it's not just any hobby, it's something that I'm very committed to. It's like
Yes.
when I'm not working,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be spending time in the pageantry
Mm-hmm.
community,
Mm-hmm.
because that is something that what keeps me moving. Women
Right.
helping women to you know to elevate themselves.
Right. And that's why we
And
get
it's
along, because we have the same passion. And Melissa mentioned her husband, Vince Tan. He's amazing. These two are a power couple. I had a chance also somewhat be mentored a little bit by Vince while they were visiting again. So, if you want to bring your business to the next level, Vince is the guy to help you. And now, of course, Melissa. I did see some of your posts where you're on stage now. You're on stage
oh
speaking. So how did that
well,
feel?
it's something that Vince has been trying to push me the last 10 years, but I
Mm,
felt that I wasn't ready
right.
yet.
Mm,
I used to be that woman that I'm happy being behind the scene.
right.
I'm happy, pushing people, supporting them,
Mm-hmm.
but then there was this one moment that I felt that okay, it's time that maybe I should give this a try to be, in front instead. So,
Mm-hmm.
and when I did, then I started to realize, oh, this is how it actually feels,
Mm-hmm.
and exactly what my husband has been doing for the last 10 years. So, I
Mm-hmm.
cannot be more supportive
Mm-hmm.
than what he's doing right now.
Of course, you're so lucky to have someone in your household that motivates everyone to be the best version of themselves. So with that, even before you met Vince, I don't know, maybe you have a mantra or a ritual that helps you when you're feeling unmotivated. Is there something that you do when you have an off day, what,
Well,
especially when you're about to go on the stage or something like that?
okay, let me tell you something behind the scenes. As much as you think that
Okay.
being married into a motivational speaker, you probably think that he will be your number one motivational coach every day, right? Well, it doesn't work that way. When you sleep with one and wake up to one, well, the thing is, I understand, when he tries to motivate others, he gets exhausted as well. And my
Mhm.
role in this relationship, in this family, is to
Mhm.
support him. And the way how I get the energy from him is actually by observing what he is doing and trying to
Mhm.
understand from his point of view. And when
Yeah.
I start seeing, how his students, evolving, from one stage to another stage, I cannot help but feel that, what, I may not be that person standing in front, but
Mhm.
I think I have a little tiny bit contribution, by just
Mhm.
helping that man.
Mhm.
So this is a process itself. But sometimes when he's not with me, or this is way before I've met him, how did I
Mhm.
manage those times where you're just completely lost? And
Mhm.
I must say that the it's it's not uncommon that
Mhm.
this happens, because we are only human, and
Yes.
we will have our moments where we doubt ourselves,
Yes.
and for reason we feel that we are, you know we 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 are at the worst possible position, and
Mhm.
you feel helpless, and you just don't want to do anything about it. I mean, it's like, during my early years,
Mhm.
I didn't have this much of wisdom to able to manage that kind of
Mhm.
position. So I would say it would take me a longer time to recover from that phase.
Mhm.
Maybe like 3 or 5 days of being unproductive, just doing nothing.
Mhm.
And then, when reality hits me that, hey, I need to be back on my feet so that I can keep my life moving
Mhm.
forward. And I was like, okay, I'll do this. But over the years, the recovery period has gotten shorter and shorter and shorter, because I realized it's actually the same pattern over
Yeah.
and over again. And at the end of the day, you know, you will just realize that, oh my God, I've just wasted that 3 days, 5 days, or even 1 hour,
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
not progressing by just being in that state. But
Right.
I do allow myself to go through to manifest,
Mhm.
because if I don't, I feel that this. I would say, I mean, this will build up inside me, and
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it might turn into, I don't know, mental illness, like such as
Yeah.
depression.
Mhm.
So I think it is important that we let our emotions to manifest,
Mhm.
but at that point of time, do not react to that emotions, because it is not our actual state of mind.
Mhm.
You know,
Like you
let
said.
it,
Mhm.
yeah, let it manifest. So don't do anything, and just do nothing for the next, I don't know, you have to give yourself a time frame: 3 hours,
Mhm.
5 hours, 12 hours, 2 days, 3 days. And you need to tell yourself that, what, I need to get back up, and I need to progress. I think progressing is a very important, um I would say, element in everybody's life, to keep
Mhm.
us moving forward, to look forward to,
Mhm.
so, and our main motivation in improving ourselves,
Yes.
progress.
Exactly. Exactly. So during this quarantine period, is there something new that you learned about yourself?
uh yes. Well, there is always the good and the bad. Nobody's
Mhm.
perfect.
Exactly.
Well, the thing with the whole quarantine, I think that discipline is very important to get into
Mhm.
the daily routine. And now, having the kids at home, I would say practically 24 hours a day for the last 3 months.
Mhm.
I think that has really, I mean, it's like, I do appreciate the time, with my family, because prior to this whole quarantine, with Vince flying around, with me rarely having to see him,
Yeah.
like I probably get to see him like once or twice a week, or sometimes I don't even know where on earth, like literally, I don't know where on earth he is.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, boom, I get to see them 24/7 for the last couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
In a way, I felt that, the God has answered my prayers, that, he actually, he actually made my husband homebound, and I have my kids with me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a different, I would say, dynamics altogether, because prior to this, it was most of the time myself managing the family. But now with
Mm-hmm.
Vince in the picture, it's a
Yes.
little bit different. Plus, working from home,
Mm-hmm.
and and schooling the kids, and Mafae, I cannot, give I can you have my utmost respect for homeschooling.
Thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, Mayfair, she does not only have one or two kids. She has six kids. Oh my god, that's like double what I have. And that level of EQ and patience. Oh my god. Mayfair, hats off to you, lady.
You're not alone. A lot of women are going through it right now, and maybe it was a blessing in disguise that I started ahead of everyone. So now I'm able to guide moms too through homeschooling. But you're a strong woman. You can do it too.
Every time when when I'm going through some tough times with the kids
Mhm.
and their schedule, I'll be like, okay, maybe Mafe have six kids. I can do this. I can do this.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that you think of me in the positive light because that's all I want to achieve. It's not easy being a mom, period. So during this time, people need to hear these stories. Like, of course, for you, like as a successful businesswoman, also a beauty queen. Um, you know, can you imagine, everyone? This lady she had triplets. So you looking fabulous is already an inspiration to a lot of women. So with that, what is your do you have a new routine now? Do you eat healthy? Do you exercise? How's your quarantine schedule looking?
Well, to be honest, my husband, he is quite a foodie himself.
Hmm.
And 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 and, and another, I would say, confession. I Prior to this quarantine, I don't usually cook. I don't have the time. But the thing with quarantine, I have no choice but to cook. And in fact, our daily meals has been quite, I would say, I would say, I mean, better than the usual,
Hmm.
because they always say, you know, the way to a man's heart is through his stomach, right?
Yes, it
So
is.
I try my best,
Mhm.
to prepare meals for the family. And then again, my respect to all the stay-at-home moms,
Mhm.
who dedicate their time into preparing the food and basically everything else for the family, because I think it's not easy. I think
Mhm.
in a way that, I mean, we are just like any other women out there.
Yes.
You know, it's just that we have different challenges because our circumstances are different. But the thing is, I believe that every woman is a superwoman,
Hmm.
because it's like, at any junction or any challenges that we face, we will, figure it out, no
Right.
matter what it is,
Hmm.
and we just do it. And I find this. I mean, it's like I only started to realize this after becoming a mom.
Hmm.
So I think this is a kind of a superpower that comes, with being a mom.
Hmm.
Especially
It
when
is.
you're pregnant and going to labor, you're in so much pain, but you cannot stop.
Hmm.
The show must go on. The baby must come out. You see,
Yes.
so that is pretty much the first step of, facing our first challenges, and
Hmm.
not giving up.
Hmm.
So I think, that
Exactly.
is what makes mom so special,
Mhm.
because of all these beautiful things that we do for our family.
And for you, you know, you become a beauty queen after giving birth to three beautiful girls. That's an achievement in itself, right? Was there anything that you did to prepare for this pageant? Because, you know, every pageant is a tough competition. So was there anything that you did to make yourself stick out more than the other women?
If you're talking in terms of, I've been trying to keep a healthy diet,
Yeah.
because okay, I'm very fortunate in terms that I have a very high metabolic rate.
Mhm.
When I was younger, and I don't tend to put a lot of weight when I eat.
Mhm.
But I realized that, oh, I'm starting to take this for granted, because as I get a little older, I feel that I'm starting to lose that
Mhm.
magical metabolic rate, you see.
Yeah.
So I started to learn about my food intake. But
Mhm.
I'm not a believer of going hardcore. I
Mhm.
always believe, in going baby steps.
Mhm.
So the first thing I did was cutting carbs. And by the way, I love carbs.
Mhm.
I used to eat, like, 2 to 3 plates of rice per
Yeah.
meal. So I start cutting that to, one plate, half a
Mhm.
plate, quarter of a plate, and now to the point where I have more vegetable and protein compared
Yes.
to carbohydrate. So
Mhm.
I think that it was I think a 3 or 4 years journey to reach to that diet, because I think it's not easy if you just go cold turkey.
Mhm.
And in fact, I think if you stop, it will kind of rebound. So
Yes.
that's what I've been doing, taking care of the diet, reducing carbs, you reducing sugar. By the way,
Mhm.
I'm also a very sweet tooth. I have a
Yeah.
very sweet tooth. And I used to be a cake artist. I bake a lot of desserts, so you
Mhm.
can imagine where I'm coming from.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and again, a lot of discipline.
Mhm.
Uh, of Unfortunately, when I was going through my pageant, my competition, I
Mhm.
did not actually have like a coach kind of thing.
Mhm.
So I was pretty much, doing that trial and error.
Mhm.
I was banging a lot of walls. I was doing I was doing my own catwalk practice at home. I will
Yeah.
put on my heels, and I put on my earpods and
Mhm.
my iPhone, and I'll be listening to music. I'll be walking, catwalking up and down the house. I'll make a point to actually practice, like, half an hour every morning and half an hour every night. It doesn't matter if my family thinks I'm crazy for doing that. But then again, my daughter start to realize that, hey, I'm doing this like every day, and then only they realize that for what reason, which is because
Mhm.
I am, joining a competition.
Mhm.
And also the part where, when I was competing for the Mrs. Malaysia World,
Mhm.
there was a talent section.
Yeah.
So I took out my old Chinese zither, which I have not touched for, like, I don't know, 15, 20 years.
Yes.
And I told myself, you know what, I'm going to pick this up again. So I got a teacher to teach me,
Mhm.
and I was practicing for a good 6 months to pick up, what I used to know.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of myself that I was able to pull off a solo uh, performance on
Mhm.
stage with my Chinese theater.
Yes.
And in a way, it was very memorable for me, because
Mhm.
the Chinese theater that I played on was actually bought for me by my mom. And that
Nice.
brings back all the way back that my mom was the person that actually encouraged me to pick up all
Mhm.
these skills: ballet, piano,
Yes.
and the Chinese theater, and so on. So I felt that, wow, thanks, mom. Your hard work finally paid off. 30 years later.
That's so amazing. You know, you really fulfilled your dreams by being dedicated, practicing. You know, to all the aspiring women out there, whether you're a wife already or a mom, you can still fulfill the beauty queen dream, just like what Melissa did. Melissa, what would be your advice to women that still want to achieve, the platform that you have?
Well, the only advice that I can give you is, do not let the voices of others affect what you want to do, even the judgment, the criticism. I mean, personally, I mean, that is what exactly stopped me from that is what stopped me from actually achieving my dreams even sooner. Because you achieving your dreams does not mean that, okay, I must win the crown. It is about me fulfilling, my desire to actually complete, a pageantry journey, and to see myself uh, improve and evolve over the times. So, and along the way, I can tell you there will be a lot of naysayers, people that who will bring you down.
Mm-hmm.
So what I can say is, filter all these noises out from you and be really, really focused
Mm-hmm.
and take action on what you want to achieve.
Yeah, that's great advice. Most especially at this time, like we were talking about, there's a lot of women and moms out there are struggling through, the changes that's happening with school, with of course not being able to go out every day like we used to. But for you, it seems as though that it became an opportunity than a challenge during this time. I have a few questions for you here. What
Sure.
what to you is the qualities to be a queen?
Qualities to be a queen. Well, there are many aspects of being a queen, because when you are a queen, you are seen as a role model, a leader, and that weighs a lot of
Mm-hmm.
responsibility. And as what Spider-Man said, you know, response that when you have a lot when you have so much of responsibility on
Mm-hmm.
you, you owe it to yourself and the women out there, to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
And what is the right thing?
Mm-hmm.
So, well, you just have to be I think confidence plays a very big part, in believing in what you do,
Mm-hmm.
knowing your own mission, and putting in a lot of hard work,
Mm-hmm.
patience, perseverance,
Yes.
elegance while doing all that.
Yes.
That is what it is to me.
You have to juggle all that in like 5 inches heels.
Yeah, with a crown.
Okay, so for you, what did it feel like after you won your crown?
well, it felt I felt empowered on
Mm-hmm.
top of the world. It wasn't because only of the crown, it's because of the meaning of the crown, that I was able to be in that position to
Mm-hmm.
empower and inspire other women that who wants to do the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I truly believe that whatever I do next is very important, as it will set like an example
Yes.
for other women,
Mm-hmm.
to do or what not to do. So and that challenge myself, that hey, I'm gonna do my best,
Mm-hmm.
and for myself, for my family, and for all the women out there.
Yes. And then for you again, what is your definition of an empowered queen?
Empowered queen. Wow. Empowered queen.
That's what you are.
It's very difficult to put a word or a
Mhm.
sentence, because I wouldn't say complicated, but I think
Mhm.
it's a lot of I would say it's more of a feeling and
Mhm.
an energy, and it's you can't do it alone. I'm
Yes.
very thankful that I'm surrounded by beautiful, empowered people such as
Mhm.
yourself, and my everyday family.
Mm-hmm.
My colleagues who, and they are constantly bursting in positive energy.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel that, to be an empowered queen, you need to be empowered and too empowered. It works both ways.
Right.
You can't always be giving and
Yes.
not receiving.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's like for others, if they feel that they are empowering you in a way that
Mm-hmm.
they are also motivated themselves. Like, hey, I'm helping another individual.
Mm-hmm.
No matter a beauty queen or not, that is very, very, I would say, fulfilling.
Right. And it's rewarding, right? When you see someone else, um, their spark in the eyes when they are happy with what you're sharing. I mean, just like now,
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure everyone who's watching and listening is really, inspired to do what you've done. In the entrepreneurial side, motivation speaker side, and also as a mom and a beauty queen, because all of this is like hard to achieve if you don't take action, right? If you don't really know
Exactly.
the why.
I wouldn't say that it's impossible. It's definitely possible. It's just that as long as you put your heart into it and a lot
Mhm.
of hard work, I don't see why it's not going to happen for you.
Exactly. So, before we wrap up, Melissa, please share with everyone how they can see your works, Vince's work, links, perhaps social media, or any online events that you guys have upcoming.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you can join us at our official Facebook at ruralmasterclass.com,
Mm-hmm.
or for my own personal campaigns or matters, you can join me at my Instagram at Melissa Seow,
Mm-hmm.
or even my Facebook where you can find me.
And I'll make sure to have all Melissa's links and social media handles on this caption so that you guys can easily find it. Again, thank you, Melissa, for taking this time to inspire everyone on this beautiful day. I hope to see you soon in person, hopefully after all of these challenges that we're having now. And the take homes I got from you were amazing. Actually, there's so much to mention, but the one that really I love and I appreciate you sharing is that when you fall, you should give yourself time. You give yourself a time frame to heal, because we're only human. We're not perfect, but we can strive to be that better version of us, of you. To the ones that are listening, I would replay this again and listen to what Melissa said, because she really touched on so many beautiful aspects on making your life more better and more grander. So, with that, guys, actions speak louder than words. And thank you for tuning in another episode of In Love with Me. Thank you.
Thank you for watching and Love of Me series.